Hello
Hi.
and good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Wherever you're watching from,
Yes.
hello to you. Do we have such a special treat in store? You get to get exclusive access right here to Will Graham. Come on, who's in a new movie. I'm sure many of you really don't even need much of an introduction. I'm sure many have heard of you.
Yes.
Well, no, I think probably many have heard my grandfather or my dad.
Yes.
Probably
Yes.
not so much me.
For those
Yes.
of you who don't know, he is a grandson of Billy Graham, son of Franklin Graham, who we've had on Seven
Yes,
Club
and we
Social.
just love
them. And we're so happy to have you.
Oh, well,
Yes.
thank you.
And
ladies.
you are
Welcome.
here to talk about the film that you're acting in, which is an awesome new
Yeah.
experience for you. What is the film called?
It's called Unbroken: Path to Redemption, and it's a second part of the story of Unbroken, which came out in 2014, which was
Yes.
directed by Angelina Jolie.
Yes. Okay.
This is a part 2.
Yeah, and this is about Louis Zamperini, the amazing forgiveness story, redemption story.
incredible.
I mean, y'all, the trailer, I have seen it
know.
probably 5 times, and every time I still
Yep.
watch it. So I can't wait to see the
Captivating.
movie. But yeah, tell us about the experience of like how you even got that acting gig.
Well, one is I'm not an actor. all
Right,
So
right, yeah.
I'm an evangelist with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association.
Yeah.
I was minding my own business. I had a friend, his wife called and said, "Hey, Will, they're doing the second part of the story," and I told them that they should check in on you. So you may be getting a phone call. I was like, well, I'm not looking for anything. I got plenty of work now.
Yeah.
And but one of the executive producers called and talked to me, and I said, "Listen, let me pray about it. I'm not sure if it's something I want to do." Second is I work for my dad, so my dad said, "No, you're not going to do this. So you got to do what Dad says." And you know, there's a lot of people that want to use my granddaddy to make money, and that's not what we're about.
Right.
And
Definitely.
and so, but we want to check this out, and we looked at the script. It was true to the story. You know, a lot of movies aren't, but this one was true to the story. And so, and I had a chance to play my grandfather.
Right.
So after praying about it, I said, okay, if you guys want me.
Yeah.
But I was growing out my hair, and I hate long hair, all right? I'm a short hair guy. This is long now. And so I started growing it out earlier that year just in case.
Yeah.
And so I was growing it out and said, listen, if I get the part, it'd be a great experience. If I don't get the part, I can go get a haircut. So I win either way.
Yeah,
So, because I didn't want to feel like I'm trying to pressure. It's something I was wanting to do. If this is what God wanted me to do, then He'll
Right.
open up the door, and God did, and I was grateful for it. It was a
Yeah.
nerve-wracking
I
experience.
was going to say, what is that like?
Yeah.
Here you are presented with this opportunity to play your grandfather.
I know, yeah.
Were you nervous, excited, the part of you
I
like,
was nervous.
Yeah,
Nervous.
just
I
straight
don't-
nervousness.
I mean, I preached in front of lots of people before. That's
Yeah.
not that problem.
Yeah.
It's just a different environment.
Absolutely.
So one is I'm preaching not my sermon. I'm preaching my granddaddy's sermon from 1949
Wow.
that we believe that Louis heard that night.
Wow.
And so I was preaching his sermon. It was entitled this. Listen to this. How many sermons have you heard entitled this? Why does God allow communism? When's the last time you heard a sermon on that subject?
Oh
huh?
my goodness.
Wow.
But you got to remember the month. But here's we got to go back to 1949.
Yeah.
August. This is in September or October actually when Louis would come to know Christ. It started in September, but in August is when the communists, Russia, had just detonated their first atomic bomb.
Wow.
So the atomic war had started between America and the Soviet Union. So all the Americans were thinking about this.
Yeah.
So here's the premise. Why does God allow such an evil empire to even exist in our world? Why does God allow, evil in this world? Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? Now that's starting to sound familiar,
yeah,
doesn't it?
absolutely.
And that's where it's starting to hit true for Louis. And so now I got to preach this sermon, and I got to preach words. He uses phrases I would never use in my life. Just not my vocabulary words.
Yeah.
And so I had to preach it. But if you just take a sermon as 100 sentences, all right? I know
Yeah.
it's not, but just for round numbers' sake, all right, 100 sentences would make up my granddad's sermon or anybody's sermon. I had to preach sentence 1, 2, 28, 36,
Oh my
Yeah.
48,
Yeah.
49, 72, 98,
gosh.
99, and 100.
Yeah.
Well,
Totally out of
yeah.
order.
So it's
Yeah.
not like there's no flow to this
Right.
these lines. And
It's
the
like,
other,
cut. Okay, action.
Yep.
Okay, go back to this.
yeah, and they were all kind of like crescendos. They're all kind of going up in this.
Yeah.
And so then you had to go one, and they took all 3 of my scenes and put them in one.
Oh Oh, wow.
And so they said, now do all your lines.
Oh my
And mine's,
goodness.
I don't have any lines to feed off of. So like right now, you can ask me questions, I
Right.
can answer and stuff like that. But in this, it's just a monologue. I'm just
my
preaching.
goodness, yeah.
And so I just do all my lines and stuff like that. So
Wow.
I was, and I've never done this before, so
Yeah.
I was nervous. And
What a cool opportunity,
know.
though.
it is. And,
Yeah.
I thank the Lord for it. It was a great
Yeah.
opportunity. I love playing my granddad. And more importantly, the Zamperini family's wonderful family. I got to meet him before the movie.
Oh, neat.
And matter of fact, I found out just 2 days before that I actually got the part when I met Luke Zamperini for the first time.
Wow.
And it would, now this is another cool thing, all right? There's a lot of cool things
All
in
right,
this.
let's go.
Yes.
All right, I'm a grandson playing my grandfather in this movie. In the first movie of Unbroken with Angelina Jolie's version, Louis' grandson, Clay, was in the movie.
Really?
So both grandsons got to play in the movie. So
Wow.
Clay was the runner. He's actually shown in the trailer. If you watch the trailer again, there is a part where you see the Olympics from Berlin, and you see a man light the cauldron. Well, that was his grandson in real life.
Wow.
And he was the runner that brought in the torch in the first movie, and then he would light the cauldron. And so that was,
Wow.
so both grandsons got to play in this. So
That
that was
is
kind of a neat
It's
thing.
neat.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is really neat. You got to
So
hear it here.
amazing.
Yeah.
Got to hear it here first.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the movie. For those that don't know the premise, give us a quick synopsis.
Okay. Well, the good thing is you don't have to see the first movie to understand the second
Okay,
movie.
yeah.
good.
They do a very, very good job at the very beginning to kind of set up the story. And so in a synopsis, Louis was a delinquent as a little kid. His brother Pete took him under his wing, said, Louis, you got to start running, give him something to do. And he ended up becoming one of the fastest Americans of all time, all right? This guy was breaking records left and right, especially in the mile. And he was ready to go to the Olympics. He goes to the Olympics. They put him in the 5,000 meter race. His team didn't win, but he was so fast that Hitler came down out of the stands to shake his hand because he was that fast. And so then he was waiting for the next Olympics. That was going to be his Olympics because he'll be fully matured by then, right in his prime. War starts out. There are no Olympics. Like most American men, they went off to war. He was stationed in the Pacific. His plane did not get shot down, but it crashed. Engines went down on a
Yeah.
bad airplane. And he floated 47 days, longer than anyone else in human history.
Wow.
He had sharks to deal with.
Yeah.
He had a Japanese plane strafe him twice.
Wow.
Come down, shoot machine gun, fill a raft full of holes. No one ever got hit. No one got eaten by Charlotte.
amazing.
He had to patch it all up and stuff like that. Floated 47 days, got captured by the Japanese, was tortured because he was a well-known Olympian. So they want to show him who's boss. And one man in particular named the Bird, nicknamed the Bird, would torture more than anything else. Now Louis would end up surviving the war. And coming back home, and this is kind of where this part of the movie starts.
Yeah.
And but he was suffering from PTSD,
Right.
and so from PTSD he would start to drink, self-medicate. His life was falling apart. He got married. His marriage was now falling apart. He had a child at this time, the daughter that was born. Everything would have looked good from the outside, but deep down inside, everything was really falling apart. Even to the point now where Cynthia, the wife, said, "Louis, I can't deal with this anymore, and I'm getting a divorce," which was unheard of at that time.
Right.
And Louis was hurt because he really loved his wife. He didn't want a divorce, but he knew she was right. And he was the problem. He understood that. It wasn't her, it was him. He was a drunk, and he knew it, but he didn't know what to do to fix it. He wanted to get fixed, but he didn't have any idea. And so out of desperation, a neighbor said, "Cynthia and Lou, why don't you come to this young man from North Carolina, from Charlotte. His name's Billy Graham. He's doing a crusade." Now you got to remember, 1949, no one knows who Billy Graham is. He's a nobody.
Yeah.
And so here they come up, and she goes. He wouldn't go. She would give her life to Christ. Comes back and says, "Lou, I'm not going to divorce you." And then she would end up
Wow.
having a huge impact of him coming to know Christ as well. So
Wow.
it's one of the great stories of forgiveness. And I may
Yes,
did too much of a
amazing.
synopsis, but I love the story. It's an incredible
Yes.
story, and it's one of the greatest stories of forgiveness outside of the Bible.
Absolutely,
it's an incredible
absolutely.
story.
Well, guys, you have an opportunity to see this movie September 14th,
That's
right?
right,
In
nationwide.
theaters, September
Yeah.
14th. I'm telling you, you can see the trailer just in the comments below. There's a link to watch the trailer.
Don't miss it.
As I said, every time I watch it, I get sucked in. It's so good. I cannot wait to see the film. And Will Graham is acting in it.
Good
playing
job.
his
Good
grandfather,
job.
Billy Graham. So it's going to be just such a good movie.
It's going to be a movie to definitely see.
Definitely. And we're blessed to have you.
Yes.
And I'm sure the movie's going to be a great success.
Yes.
So.
September 14th. Don't forget. And as Ash mentioned, there's always a link for you in the comments. You can get more information.
That's right.
And then don't forget, one last time, watch Will's interview with Terry. It was a really good interview a few minutes ago on the 700 Club, and we'll post a link to that as well. So we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.